Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hi, I'm Joe Keenan, the editor-in-chief of Total Retail. I'm here at CRMC in Chicago, and I'm pleased to be joined on this episode by Jake Lestan, who is the Senior Director of Consumer Engagement at Valvoline. Jake was presenting here at the show, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about that, as well as what he discussed during his presentation. So thanks for joining me, Jake.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks, Joe.
So I mentioned your title. I'd love to know a little bit more about your role with Valvoline.
Sure, yeah. So at consumer engagement, we're all within the organization, we're all about nudging consumers to take action. And so the way we do that is through acquiring new customers and supporting the well over 100 stores that we're opening every single year, trying to drive new customer growth to those stores and get them to come in and visit us for the first time. Second part of consumer engagement is all about retaining our active customers and doing everything that we can to continue to engage them so that they come back for that second, third, fourth visit, and so on and so forth. And when they do come back, hopefully add an additional service on for the next time. And then lastly, consumer engagement is all about partnerships as we think about both from a digital perspective, supporting our affinity and affiliate groups, but as well as supporting our commercial and business-to-business entities as well, as they're looking for businesses to sign up accounts for to bring in their fleet vehicles into a Valvoline Instant Oil Change location.
Yeah, so many different layers to your position.
Yes.
So, but all of equal importance. So you talked here at CRMC about future-proofing your marketing with empathy in particular. So I'm interested what you mean by that and how that kind of manifests itself at Valvoline.
Yeah, so, at the core, I think we often forget as marketers that without our customers and without people, the business doesn't run. And so really about what future-proofing with empathy is taking ourselves back to our roots, back to our basics of just good marketing foundations and principles that put the customer at the center of everything that we do. Marketing has become so tech forward, and you hear a lot about what companies are doing in the way of machine learning and artificial intelligence. You hear a lot about that at CRMC, and a lot of great work's been going on there. But there's that balance between taking what is accelerating our industry and balancing that with what we know as good marketers, it's going to drive consumers to take actions and transact. And so when we think about that from an organization, first and foremost, it starts with our operations. If you visit a Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you might feel like you're, checking into a high-end hotel, because hospitality is paramount for us when we start to interact with our guests. And so treating people and seeing them for who they are in a highly anxious environment, because most people don't really know that much about automotive maintenance. They feel uncomfortable. And so our first and foremost is to make people at ease and put them at ease so that they can feel confident in the trust that, that they have in us to do their vehicle service right. So that's where it starts. And then from there, it's about how do we extend that hospitable relationship with our customer after their visit. So it's our communications with them to meet them where they are and to continue to educate them about what service they might be due for next, or what other safety things that we can help them be aware of to keep them safe and on the road.
Yeah. So, to your point, Jake, people don't necessarily knowledgeable about automobile maintenance.
Yeah.
So you're kind of instructive, but you also want to be hospitable, to your point. And then also, this isn't, you're not selling a service or a product that is particularly, and I don't think you would have any objection to this. It's not like you're selling a destination vacation or
it's
something.
Not a sexy environment.
It's a necessary product, a necessary service, but it's not something people look forward to.
That's
necessarily. Right. So with that in mind, tell us how you maybe have an example that you might be able to share of an empathetic marketing strategy, campaign, messaging that you kind of to get that awareness and that engagement, given what we just talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's two examples that come to mind. First and foremost, you talk about this, and one of the phrases we use a lot is oil change anxiety. This notion that we've made this word up, but the fact of the matter is it's a real feeling where you're not entirely sure what's happening with your vehicle, and so our ability to meet our guests where they are, and more importantly, to not over market to them. So, empathy at its core is understanding where our guests are, and if we know that they've had vehicle service done elsewhere, we might not market to them for a period of time. So that's one example. The other is that when we think about framing up what services a customer might be due, or even just trying to understand what communities our customers live in, the simple framing of an offer that we may present to a customer starts to change and is a little bit different. For example, we've found that we've been really successful with framing some of our offers in the form of a gift for customers. And the fact of the matter is that everybody likes to feel special, and everybody likes to have a little extra. And so we found that certainly has helped us drive customer engagement.
So you talked about kind of creating these more personalized, these better experience, because you want the customer to know that you know and appreciate them. And one of the ways you can do that is observing their behaviors. But the other way is that you can collect customer feedback directly from them. You can hear what they're telling you and listen to what they're telling you. So tell us a little bit about how customer feedback plays into the planning of your marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Feedback is an absolute gift for us, and we're really lucky that our customers who give us 4.6 out of 5 stars consistently in their feedback on their overall satisfaction. And for us, it's absolutely listening to what the customers say to help us understand the why behind what's driving some of that satisfaction, not only from an operations level, but for the way in which we think about communicating to them in a proactive way that keeps them coming back for more. We're also, looking for ways to not only listen to them, but observe them as well. And so getting that feedback even from our team members in the field who are interacting on the front line every single day helps enable us to design the next generation of what the next campaign or offer would be, or as we think about better enabling our team members to serve our guests in the future and ensuring that we've got the right things in place for that.
You talked about the multiple channels in which consumers can engage with Valvoline. So there's obviously data points from all these different sources. And you're working with, and you talked about this during your presentation here at CRMC, you're working with Epsilon and its analytics and modeling tools to kind of help you piece all those data points together, create a clear, concise, profile of the customer, and then how that can improve the customer experience for them, because you're able to then market to them more intelligently. Can you tell us a little bit more about that relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been working with Epsilon for now over the last 8 years as we built out a proprietary CRM that supports our retention marketing activities. And in particular, in the last 3 years, we've been on a journey around machine learning readiness. And what that has meant for us is, as particularly as the pandemic changed so much of consumer behavior, consumer patterns, so much of our historic modeling needed to be re-examined and reset as we think about casting ourselves towards the future. So think about this: when the world shut down, people stopped driving, and one of the most important indicators for us is thinking about how many miles folks are driving on their vehicle to help us better understand what services they might be due for. And so working with the Epsilon team, we've been able to recast some proprietary modeling and analytics tools that have been able to upskill those models now, living with COVID and beyond it from 2020 and 2021, that have certainly enabled us to be ready now to, what everyone always talks about is get that right message in front of the right customer at the right time with the right offer. And so we've been readying ourselves with some of that technology that we'll be able to load in for machine learning and be off to the races.
And it's a continual process, right? You're
Absolutely
refining it as new data points come in, and you're learning more about your customer. That the models are, that's the beauty of it. They're learning with you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So finally, Jake, I would love to get your input in terms of advice that you might share with other retailers and brands as they think about marketing in the future, and particularly as they future-proof for the inevitable change that occurs. Consumer behavior changes constantly. Thinking about marketing going forward, what advice might you have there?
Yeah, so I guess a couple of things. I think about, again, with so much new that's happening in and around the marketing space in the MarTech world, we should be mindful of what's old can be new again. And, your basic principles around building salience and building brand, never leave us as an organization or as companies, but get better with that technology. And so while I think marketers will get distracted by all of the shiny objects of machine learning, don't forget the basics. I think that's number one. Number two is, in the last couple of years, again, because of the way that consumer behavior has shifted so much, we've changed the way in which we go to market and remind customers that they're due for service, and our models have gotten better. And we've never looked back. And I think for marketers, when you catch fire and you are seeing that one of your new campaign ideas or new offers is working, let that snowball happen. Let it roll down the hill and keep chasing it and letting it build. And I think the last thing that we should remember is as good as technology will be at predicting consumer behavior, we need to remember that people are irrational. They will continue to do whatever they want, whenever they want. And we see that even, in our business too, that, some people come in consistently, with they feel every 5,000 miles I'm coming in to get an oil change. And there's others who, start to shift that around. And so as marketers, we have to be ready to be able to capture all of those irrational people out there.
Yeah. Obviously, it helps to have tools and technology to help you, but you have to be agile to it and adjust on the fly.
That's exactly right.
Great. Well, I want to take the opportunity to thank Jake Lestan, who is the Senior Director of Consumer Engagement at Valvoline, for joining us on this episode of Total Retail Talks at CRMC. Thanks, Jake.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.